I got whiskey that I'm trying. Got running all over damn town. Until that I'm hanged. But you still want me.
Sweep the leg. You have a problem with that?
No, Sensei.
No mercy.
We are live now, by the way. So
well, that's very cool.
Cool.
So I wanted to know, what's up, Zach? How
What's
you
up,
doing,
JK?
guy?
Good, man. Oh man, so guys, today we got a little bit late start. I was streaming live to a sock account, but now we're back live on the main account, one of them, and we got a special guest, JK. You guys know him, Jason King, from author of Postmodern Satanism and some other books, and YouTube channel Jason666 King. Always a pleasure, Mr. King. How you doing? Sorry, I didn't bring the red carpet, but
Greetings.
I was getting washed for next time.
You didn't bring the red carpet. That's why I dressed myself in there.
Oh, good point. Good, got it. How you doing,
Brought
Mojo?
my own, bro. I brought my own.
That's the way to go, man. Then you don't have to depend on anybody. Roll it out yourself, like woo.
Yeah, but thanks for having me, man. It's a pleasure to do this, man. I want to see this podcast just explode. I want you to be the new Joe Rogan or the sinister Joe Rogan or the Joe Rogan that's better than Joe Rogan type shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Awesome.
It's going to be cool, man.
I think if I got some good talent on, man, like you guys, man, you know, people have interesting things to say and with a unique perspective on things, man, I don't see why it can't be, right? I mean, and soon in the near future, we're going to be able to take live callers, which is fucking rad, you know, so get everybody else in on this. But yeah, we got a Jake in the chat room. What's up, Jake M? More people are trickling in. If you guys have any questions, go ahead. Feel free to type it, man. We're just talking about the coronavirus and how it's impacted things and maybe like the future of it and what the current is of that. And if there's any possibly underlining motives or what's going to happen because of this, if anybody's going to, use that to catapult something new.
Yeah. Like what comes next after this shit, right?
JK, you were saying something about it's not really impacting your life that much, right? Because you guys are essential workers, but maybe it's your kids are staying at home, right? That's got to impact you to a degree, right?
Well, yeah, the thing is, what I'm trying to say is I don't see, like, I've heard all these stories out of New York City, like they're backing up freezer trucks and they're dumping bodies in them and shit. And I don't know if any of that's true. I mean, I haven't seen any video on it or anything like that, you know. As far as like dead bodies piling up in the streets, no. As far as like my wife works in the healthcare industry, as far as like actual COVID patients, not that many. Not say zero, but not that many. Yeah. What's really causing the friction in, you know, my neighborhood, my community, etc., is the response. It's not the virus. It's the way we've responded to the virus. So we've created all this, you know, mentality in people where, I don't know, maybe 30% of people don't know if they can pay their rent, their mortgage, etc. We've had a somewhat feeble response in regards to a stimulus / bailout / whatever. And it's mostly been top heavy. So people are starting to get a little bit itchy. People are starting to, you know, realize that maybe what a lot of people were saying early on, you know, that we shouldn't let the cure be worse than the disease is actually panning out. Absolutely. And that's why I see all this stuff popping up all over the country. And they're saying, oh, this is astroturfing as opposed to grassroots. Maybe it's a little bit of both. And who the fuck cares? You know, it's people reacting to something that they see destroying their lives. You know, it might not, you know, be like, oh, I knew somebody that knew somebody that died from it. Well, I knew somebody that knew somebody that had a heart attack. You know, I knew somebody that knew somebody that died from the flu.
Yeah.
I knew somebody that knew somebody that's fucking entire body was ejected through the front window of their fucking car and died on impact when hitting a tree. I knew somebody that knew somebody that got hit by lightning and died.
Yeah.
But we allowed this one thing to basically rework our entire global economy. And that to me is far more frightening than a fucking COVID virus.
Yeah.
A coronavirus, which, by the way, the common cold is also a coronavirus.
Yeah.
There's that.
Sure. For sure.
But you said that it's mainly impacting the as far as the stimuluses go, maybe the upper echelon of the society in the United States. So I mean, I would say I'm at the lower echelon of the economic movement. But I don't know. I don't know if you guys got the stimulus check, but I did, and like I'm getting paid like because I'm not an essential worker. I guess passing out free booze at grocery stores and events is not considered essential. I thought it was essential. I thought I was doing a public service announcement, but I guess not.
Yeah.
So I'm getting like
I was considered essential too. I mean, I worked for Walmart, but and I was ready to face this shit. I was just thinking it was bullshit, right? But then I had a relative who got it, and then I have pre-existing conditions, and I have asthma, high blood pressure, and I'm working on my type 2 diabetes, but which runs in my family. But all of those conditions put me at higher risk, apparently, according to the news, for someone that could pass on, that could die. And then halfway down through my month, I get a call from my doctor, who happened to write me a doctor's note to get out of work. Is telling me, oh, no, it's fine. Just social distance, wear a mask. I'm like, the people at my work, like, they're not cleaning shit. They're not cleaning down anything. They're even barely putting on their mask correctly, and no one's social distancing. Full families are coming in. So for me, I'm looking at it and I just feel like some of it is just hype and bullshit. And then talking about the economy, like they use the excuse that the COVID virus has caused all this shit. But then you watch and you hear things about like people and speculators like messing with the economy and like attempting to bring this down so they can start a new fucking system, a money system. And it just, and I agree with JK over here, because this is some bullshit, man. Like what's going to kill us most, I think, as being social creatures is the isolation,
Well, one thing real quick, just to finish my my line of thought, because my line of thought these days drops pretty quick if I don't finish it. Is that the stimulus whole thing? I mean, I got my bonus. I got my 1,200 because I'm not an essential worker and I'm unemployed due to Corona or whatever. I'm getting like $850 a week with that $600 bonus on top of my regular unemployment to not go back to work, to stay at home. And then it's like that's more money than I made full time. I mean, like, well, not full time, but that's more money than I was making part time. I mean, basically, it did me a great thing. I mean, I'm basically taking a 3 or 4 month vacation and getting paid well. I mean, I'm getting paid enough to live off of and taking the vacation. So my situation, there's got to be millions of others. My situation is not unique. So I don't know. I think it worked out pretty good for me, but I could see how it fucked a lot of people, though.
I think the problem is going to be inflation, is really what it is, because you can't eat money. As much as this money seems like a good thing, it's going to cause things to go up, man. I just paid $10 for a fucking gallon of orange juice.
What? Where the fuck you shopping at, man?
This was at Winco up here, man. I'm just telling you.
Okay.
I'll digress. I'll back off. I'll let JK here do his thing.
Oh, hey, man, just on a lot of points. I look at it like this. You've heard that whole, old wives' tale, or whatever the fuck those things are called. Step on a crack, break your mother's back.
Yeah.
Now imagine if the entire society literally believed that to be true.
Yeah.
And how that would just devastate our entire way of life, because everybody would just be looking down all the time, making sure they didn't step on a crack, step on a gap, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. So that's how I kind of think about this. It's like we've been stuck in this thing where, yeah, sure, maybe it's a little bit deadly to certain percentage of the population. And me and my wife, we broke down the what are those called, the aggravating factors, like what makes it more likely that you might get this. And between the two of us, we checked every box. So like, I smoke, I drink, I have high blood pressure.
Yeah.
And guess what I don't give a fuck. I give zero fucks. If this ain't gonna kill me, to quote from postmodern Satanism, whatever doesn't kill me makes it more likely that something else will.
Yeah.
because I'm gonna die, and and we can't fucking like turn this thing to a screeching halt because everything is interconnected. And getting to your point, Mojo, about inflation. The thing is, I think inflation is one of those things that's kind of like, I mean, you can have gouging. You're talking about gouging if they're charging you $10 for orange juice. That's gouging. That's not inflation per se. Inflation is basically that we used to be able to go to the store and get a 25-cent candy bar. Now that candy bar costs 99 cents if you're lucky.
Yeah.
That's what inflation is. But that's not really a problem per se, because if you look at the real value of money, it's always increasing. Like, that's how we're able to do this on smartphones. That's how we're able to have these big screen TVs and drive around in these smart cars that tell you when you need to put a fucking quart of oil in your fucking shit.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's two ways to look at everything. I mean, I think that's small scale when it comes to what this is going to mean to everything moving forward. I think
like
we
what
literally have no idea how much this not the virus, but our response to it is going to affect things moving forward, especially in light of the fact that this is all coming on, global warming / climate change / can we do anything about it, climate change, which I get the other side of the argument. And hey, what can we really do? I mean, we're doing our best, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And even if we reduced our emissions to zero, there's still China and India. Yeah. And they're the biggest two contributors to carbon emissions on the planet. So, all these pie in the sky, Green New Deal type deals, unless it's good for infrastructure, fuck it. Now we need to do what, Trump didn't say this because he went make America great again, but he was echoing the America First movement, which is basically that we should put America in front of, we shouldn't be global, we should be thinking nationally.
Yeah.
So-called nationalism, which then they, paint into the corner of white nationalism, which it's not. It's fucking United States nationalism. Yeah. I think we need to do that. Bring all our military home. Fuck the Middle East. Fuck the Far East. Fuck all that shit. Build this country up.
Yeah, that's
the lesson I think we need.
That's kind of sounding like nationalism, though. And don't get me wrong, the PC left will paint you a Nazi. Oh, what? What did you say?
Exactly.
What did you say? Like...
Exactly. I make no. Look, dude, I have a video on YouTube called Hitler Did Nothing Wrong or something to that effect. It wasn't that severe, but it was like basically re-examining. Look, I've re-examined Manson. Look, you can re-examine any figure in history. Like, we think of great people, like who is a great person? Yeah. Well, that's like history's written by the winners, man. Yeah, so like you can vilify this general on this side of the war, but the general on the other side killed twice as many. So
exactly.
We just
nobody talks about how many communists died. Nobody talks about how many Americans died. It's all about the Jews in Germany. But I'm not even gonna go on the Nazi rant because yeah, I get what you're saying though, and you're right. I mean, but United States nationalism, it is. We should fucking close our borders in time of crisis and fix our own shit. Once we fix our own shit, then we can be the fucking world police. Then we can push our morality on the rest of the world that doesn't want us. Yeah, okay, but let's fix our own shit, man. Let's take care of the guy who's sitting there at the corner, who's fucking unemployed. Let's fix that. Let's fix welfare reform. Let's fix all that shit, and then we can global expand. But whatever. But as far as the coronavirus goes, I get it's trumped up. Huh. See that? See what I did there? Yeah. And, so yeah, but it's just weird. The timing's weird that it came right at the presidential election, right?
Yeah.
On the knee of the presidential election. And who's benefiting the most from the stimulus stuff? Poor people like myself, right? Poor people that on paper anyway, make this much money. And now I get a fucking 4-month vacation paid. It's like, who am I going to vote for? Wait, I can't say that because then I would be a Nazi.
No, actually, what's funny is that when this whole thing, that $600, that was a small thing at the beginning that a few people noticed, but not a lot of people. And I was telling my wife when we were talking about this whole thing, I was like, that's going to be the most important part. Because, and here's the thing is, Mitch McConnell and them, they wanted to oppose it because they were fearful. And they've got these motherfuckers on record saying exactly what you just said. there might be somebody that gets put out of work that ends up making more being off work than while they were working, which is going to disincentivize them. That's going to disincentivize them from taking work.
Millions.
So that was their argument. But for progressives like myself, I have no problem with that, because all that does is leave you, the worker, in a better position to negotiate your return to the labor force. So it empowers the worker. So I support it as a progressive. I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't. I think that was the most important part of that. I think that was actually technically the second stimulus, but yeah, I think that was the most important part of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it really empowered the workforce in a way that I don't think they even realize yet. When we started talking about general strikes and return to the workforce and all these lefty fucking like pseudo-communist ideas that I espouse. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was something that I think a few Republicans had a problem with too, because like you were saying, like you give people money that they don't want to go back to work, you know. But I think it goes off 50% of the population. Just naturally, you have 50% of the population that doesn't want to work at all, and then you have 50% of the population that enjoys work no matter what it is, you know. I think I'm one of them. I like to go to work. I didn't want to be home. I wanted to go to work, and I even if it was like where I worked at Walmart, man, like I enjoyed taking some time out of my day to just do something. And if I was home, I'd be too much in my fucking head, and I would be earning money, you know. But at the same time, I do appreciate the stimulus.
Yeah, you know, I mean, yeah, JK. I mean, that $600 a week thing. I mean, there's got to be millions that are affected, because again, my case is nothing new. I mean, I made about $20 an hour, but I only work part time, so it's like I still qualify. I mean, so yeah, I'm getting paid at least the same amount, if not a little more, than I was working part time. And
yeah, they're talking about universal basic income too.
Oh, so I mean, you think maybe it's a push for. You know what, for long-term effects, what do you guys think the long-term effects is going to be, though? I mean, honestly, I think it's going to make, here's what I hope and what I think is going to happen. Two different things, right? What I hope is going to happen is that people will reevaluate what's really valuable in life, right? What we really need, what we're going to do. I mean, that's what I would hope, being, you know, and dare I say it, a humanitarian. But what's going to happen is I think people are going to use this as a launching stone to promote more shit, more bullshit, and just to entrap people in more ways of living that we already don't need. But who knows, man? And maybe it can be used for political gains. I'm not a politician, and I don't really give two fucks about politics. I vote for the person that I hate the least. That's it. So,
well, it definitely feels like funding, like some of these places would like to stay closed longer so they can receive more funding. At least in my opinion.
Hey, JK, I had a question for you, man. Being the author of Postmodern Satanism and the current, do you think that this works into your concepts of the current, the satanic current, and the wheel?
That's so funny. That's so funny that you asked me that, because when I was thinking about what we might talk about, I was actually going to broach this topic. So awesome. I'm ready for it. And yes, 100%. This absolutely valorizes everything I said in Postmodern Satanism.
Absolutely.
Because this thing will make us stronger, regardless of what that means. Because look at who this virus is actually targeting. It's targeting the old, the sick, those who maybe need to get culled. And then also at the same time, our response to it is perhaps culling our notions of culture, society, etc. And I don't think it's by coincidence. And we're talking about the cui bonos of all of it. And like Trump was in this really super awesome position coming into re-election. And then all of a sudden this happens. And then all of a sudden certain things happen about Bernie Sanders gets eliminated by this coup d'etat of the establishment Democrats. And then Joe Biden has the Tara Reade thing blowing up. And it's like, who's really benefiting from all this chaos? And if we look back at history, we see who's benefiting. It's those that play both sides.
Yeah.
And they've been around since the very beginning. They financed both sides of every war. We've seen it from, I mean, even the American Civil War. You'd be surprised at who was financing what. And those guys at the really, really tippy top. And we don't need to talk about, you know, pointy hats or anything like that, or small hats or anything. We don't need to go that route. But there are certain people that are benefiting no matter who wins and who loses.
Yeah.
But that counter current only proves the current. Because until somebody deals with that, until that's dealt with, all it's going to be is that wheel turning forward.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether, look, if you're underneath the wheel, you're going to be, oh, the wheel sucks. Oh, you're wrong. Postmodern Satanism is wrong. But guess what? From the point of view of the wheel, doesn't matter what the fuck you think.
Your traction.
That's
Your
kind of
traction.
that's kind of the point. That's kind of the point of postmodern Satanism.
Absolutely.
So even if I die, even if I'm dead in a week from coronavirus, my point still stands. I guess
Absolutely.
I was just under the wheel. I guess I was just weak. You know?
You at one point you're going to be pushing, and one point you're going to be traction. You know, I mean, it's going to happen to everybody at one point. Hey, but by the way, I'm going to give a shout out to people that are in the room. Dark Fool's in the room. What's up, Dark Fool? We all know Dark Fool.
Matt.
And, yep. And people are asking some questions. I'm just going to rattle them off real quick, and we'll try to get to them. Yeah, cheap gas. Somebody asked about cheap gas. Yeah, gas dropped $1 a gallon in California. Now it's down to like a manageable, just barely under $3 a gallon. That's in California though. I can't speak for everybody else. I heard it's better in the different parts of the country. Do you have a video about your tats? Blah blah blah. Yes, no, I don't. I'm working on that one. I'm still working on my tats too. So just yeah. So basically, yeah. Okay. So the questions. Yeah, if anybody have any questions, man, type them in the chat. I can't really what do they call that? Multitask very well. I get stuck in one train of thought, and I roll with it until that fails, and then I go back and look at my other options, which is kind of bad on my end. But yeah. I mean, I honestly, JK, I mean, I'm probably the only one in this room, and not because it's not a great book, just because I'm the only one that actually tries to develop in the path that I choose on that particular path of Satanism. That would be of course I've read postmodern Satanism several times, actually, bits and pieces, different levels of intoxication, and I did glean, I think, hopefully some of the best points. And that's what I caught, man, is the current and stratification, all that comes into play. And there is no, like you said, man, there is no real right or wrong in Satan. I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but what I gathered from it is there's no right or wrong in Satanism. Satanism is there's nothing to be fixed. There's nothing to be changed. It is what it is. And the wheel moves forward and, adapt or be crushed under the wheels of satanic progress.
Exactly. That's it. And we don't know. I mean, we do know a little bit about why that's true. Just given the nature of our particular universe and the physical laws therein, about especially conservation of mass energy. So given that whole formulation, it's going to create this kind of like when you start boiling water and you first notice the boil it starts at the bottom and you see the little bubbles form at the bottom, and then they start rising up, and then you get boiling on the surface, and then pretty much everything is boiling. That's our reality. And I mean, this is why I classify it as a form of a divinity, is because it's some unchangeable facet of our existence. And like, if you look back at what, ancient cultures venerated, they venerated those things which were beyond their control. Now, a lot of those things we've been able to control, whether by knowledge or by tapping into them, like with the example, what the ancients would consider to be the bolt of Zeus. Now we use that to power everything. That's electricity. So those things we can control, we demystify, we take away their God status. But I think there is a fundamental nature to reality that we'll never be able to take away. And that's why I'm a Satanist, is because I believe that within at least our particular universe, that's the most important force at work, if you will. Now, on a higher level, of course, I'm a Buddhist, but that gets into multiverse, not just universe. But with regard to this particular reality, yeah, pretty much Satan rules, man. I mean, what are you gonna fucking say about it? It's not like it's a guy with it. And I remember when I first came out with my stance on this, and everybody was like, "Oh, you believe in a little red guy with a pitchfork in the tail?" Like, man, grow the fuck up, dude. Do you think I really believe that, or do I believe in facticity? Or do I just believe in reality as is? You know, that thing that philosophers and mystics have been struggling to understand for all of time. Why? Because it's difficult. It is a struggle. The struggle itself is the reward. That's just the way it was made. Don't get mad at me. I'm just the one telling you. I'm just the one telling you, bro.
Mojo, what do you think about that, man?
Well, you know, I mean, I guess I for what I have to say, I'm more like just listening as best I can and trying to engage the conversation. You know, for me, I'm a heathen, you know, which is a pagan. I tend to, you know, but I don't know what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say is that, you know, I respect Satanism. Some of my best friends are Satanism, or into Satanism, and I've read LaVey, and I haven't read your book, man. I don't mean to be rude, but I love hearing you talk about what you're talking about. I think that your philosophy is just as valid, or spirituality, or ideology, whatever you want to call it. I think it's just as valid as any other, you know. I think that I don't know what else to say, man. I think it's valid, though.
Well, think of it this way, and I'm not gonna try to get too Buddhist with this shit.
No, that's cool.
But if a man needs to drive a nail into a piece of wood, you wouldn't give him a crutch.
For sure.
But likewise, if a man is hobbled and needs to be able to walk, you wouldn't give him a hammer.
For sure. For sure.
The hammer and the crutch are equally valid, but only to the person to which they are proper. So spiritual paths are not like anything that we could call fundamentally true to the exclusion of all others.
Yeah,
it's a path. It's just that. It's a path that you walk, and you walk alone. And maybe there's others that walk paths similar to yours, or in, you know, congruence with yours, or maybe even parallel to yours.
Yeah.
With an example of like a soulmate, or whatever you want to fucking call it, a twin soul, whatever the fuck, if you believe in shit like that. And if you don't, that's your path. So yeah, I 100% agree, man. I'm not a fundy. I'm not like, oh, believe my way or the highway. No, fuck that.
No,
believe your way. Believe your way or the highway, you know?
Well, my path came from my own personal experiences with my own reality, right? Like where some people haven't had a ghost encounter or a UFO encounter at all, like that's been most of my life. I've had many encounters with this shit. Now, whether that be real or my perception is a matter of debate, but that's been my reality. That's what led me to paganism or heathenism.
Well, you know, I think there's a fundamental dichotomy within all of metaphysics.
Yeah.
Which you just touched on, which is basically which is more fundamental, the objective world or the perception of it. Because neither can exist without the other, which is where non-duality comes from within Buddhism. But within like physical science, you've got these guys coming out now that are basically saying, well, let's just start with the opposite assumption. Let's start with idealism and assume that consciousness is primary. Can we derive the laws of physics from that?
Yeah.
And you have actual physicists that are doing this. And it's incredible because it's finally the West is catching up to the East.
Yeah, it almost feels like science and metaphysics are starting to combine together a little bit, at least with some form.
They've always been connected. If you really read Aristotle, what the metaphysics was it was what you did after you did physics. It was beyond physics because there's always going to be that asymptote of understanding. We cannot push.
JK, real quick. I keep noticing, and I support this because we've talked about this before about linking, not linking, but if you poke behind the veil of Satanism and you will see Buddha in a certain light, maybe a darker light, but at the same time, I don't think people are ready for that, man. I don't think people are still wrestling with concepts of the satanic panic, and now wrestling with greater concepts of the LGBT left movement as Satanism is perceived by the public. But I agree with you, man. And, you know, I think that we're talking, though, on a level that I don't think most of our audience is going to grasp. Not to diss my audience, but I'm just saying I don't think people are ready to associate Buddhism with Satanism, although I wish they were, because I think at the end of the day, if you reduce things in, like, you know, if you've ever smoked crack and you boil down some fucking baking soda and cocaine, you know, you get some crack. I think it's too crack for most monkeys. I think it's too crack for most monkeys. Oh, I didn't say that. Jorge? Oh no, Jorge! You fired Jorge, right? I got. She
Jorge
talks.
died.
She talks.
I think.
Once in a while, but,
I think according to canon, Jorge actually died trying to go across the border because he was mad about Trump being elected, or that Trump deported him. I forget what the story is, but he's in the canon. I think he's dead. I mean, I could always resurrect him. I could do a Lazarus on him because, of course, I'm the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But this wouldn't fucking.
The Jorge got deported based on Trump's non-active policies.
Yeah, exactly. No, his
mythologies.
His continuation of Obama's policy. Basically, that's what the left never calls out. So, like, they want to say, "Oh, he's putting kids in cages." No, he's keeping the kids in the cages that Obama put there. So just fucking get over it already.
I have a question for you both, man. As far as Satanism is concerned, right? Like, some of the first books I read before I started going into different parts of the occult and like paganism and such is a stepping stone. And I got this from LaVey watching a movie about Boyd Rice, right? Which was that it started off with disdain for the Catholic or organized religion, or at least the way people were acting and saying that they were all holy, right? But at the same time, I think it's a stepping stone for thinking outside the box, right? Like engaging in certain or reading about different things out there. If I hadn't been for like reading the Satanic Bible, I wouldn't have gotten into other books. And I don't know how you guys feel about that, like, or exploring outside of that. But I think that it's fundamental to that, right? Like the Christian and Islam and I mean, whatever. Those are all like organized for the people who are not thinking outside the box, right?
Well, I'll take it to start. And basically what I'll say is this. In Buddhism, there are known as the yanas. A yana is basically a vehicle. Think of it like a canoe to go downstream with. There are 9 of these. They are not equal to each other. In my videos, I call them belt levels. You can have a white belt that goes down the stream, and they might get all the way to the end, but they had to take the longest path to the end, etc. So you can, analogize this to the rest of the belt levels, and you can see that at the final belt level, it's instantaneous. Yeah. I think within Satanism, there's a parallel. So you can understand it on many levels. If it's breaking free from, some kind of religious dogma, okay, so that's a yellow belt level. If it's just getting mad at your parents and buying a Satanic Bible because you saw it at a bookstore, that's white belt level. You know what I mean? When you get to postmodern Satanism, then you're talking about maybe red belt level, because I can't break you through to that final stage. But there's various understandings of this. But yes, it all does have to do with abandoning categories, thinking outside the box, realizing that you are the center of your own universe. If that's a form of weak solipsism, then that's what it is. If you choose to and this was one of the things that LaVey was, with his whole fucking, like, he wanted to create a, world of robots and whatnot. Yeah, well, that was like a metaphor. For basically what we're all going to be experiencing sooner or later. So he was somewhat of a prophet in this regard, is that we all going to have these, universes that we inhabit, VR realities, these, what are they called? Extended reality, or, hyper reality, or whatever the fuck. You put some goggles on, everything will take a trip, whatever. But so it's a belt level thing. I think within Satanism too, it's a belt level thing. It's like, how much of the truth of this do you grasp? And no matter what bit of it you do, it's going to be beneficial for you. It's not a teaching. It's like martial arts. It's like, if the shit doesn't work, don't fucking use it. You know what I mean? If it works for you, use it, grow, extend yourself. So
You know,
use that.
I agree with that totally. 100%. And there are different degrees, or if you want to call them belts, I mean, those are degrees as well, right? I mean, yeah, we can use that analogy as well. But yeah, I mean, there's different levels where a lot of people will stop. They will stop, you know, at their yellow belt. You know, they read LeVay's books. Maybe they dabbled in some Crowley. Maybe they, you know, saw this video and that video. Maybe their entire source of information on YouTube. But people, when you're talking about thinking outside the box, and that's where people stop at that wider yellow belt, is that they're still struggling with the concepts of good and evil, good, evil, white, black, right, wrong, heaven, hell, God, devil, you know, and that's where the majority of people stop, is they can't grasp the concept of why do you call yourself a Satanist if you don't believe in the devil? It's like, okay, you know, oh, you thought you were a yellow belt, now you're back to a white belt. Get back there and figure it out. You know, get back 100 push-ups, roundhouses, get back there. You know, and once you get past that, though, then you really open your mind to other concepts, some more, I wouldn't say mystical because that's the wrong word, but I'd say worldly or wider concepts of what good and evil is, because good and evil in itself is a construct that is man-made. Is it really good? What did Nietzsche say? What is good? What is good? Good is what makes me feel better, or what you know, and what is evil? Things that detract from me.
Or how about this? Shakespeare said it best.
Sure.
There is nothing good. There is nothing evil. Only thinking makes it so. So it's all mental categories. Like what's good for the cat is evil for the mouse, and vice versa. So
that is true.
It's all a value judgment.
It is, and people don't get that. I know. There's a good deal of my audience that is, you know, just based on psychedelic fans that probably haven't struggled with these concepts yet, and that doesn't make them, you know, inferior by any means. It just means that they haven't, you know, submitted themselves to these. At
least the white belt shows up to the dojo. At least the white belt shows up to the dojo. So.
Absolutely. The white belt does show up in his belt and is ready to perform, and that's exactly that's the majority. That's more than 95% of the people are willing to do. So
yeah, for sure. We had a talk a little while ago. This is another thing I'd like to bring up. You know, like we talked about the different. There was some stuff we disagreed upon, like with some of the, like, you know, the Satanic Temple and others, but there was concepts of all that seemed to be evolutions of something far older, right? We had talked about that before a little bit too. Do you find, like, as a Satanist yourself, Jason, what do you think of like theism or like satanic theism or Luciferianism? What is your opinions on that?
Oh, again, I think this goes back to what I was saying before, is that, you know, each individual path is individual. So theism, I think, and I've made this argument before many times, but I think that the term theism is vacuous, because I don't believe there's a well-determined concept of gods. So until you can demonstrate that there is a, you know, well-defined, logically, concept of gods, then I'll hold the atheism-theism argument to be valid.
Okay.
Until then, I don't. So whatever anybody particularly, look, if my 5-year-old kid thinks Superman is real, does that make him a theist? I don't know. Superman is a god according to some. You think about him that way, and does that make? No, obviously not. My kid's not a theist based on that definition. But then again, what would the proper definition be? So I just think, you know, people need to define their own terms for themselves.
Well,
like theistic Satanists can be as silly as fucking somebody who's basically a Christian, but just hates the Christian God, and so he worships the imaginary guy with the pitchfork and the red skin and the tail and whatnot. And, you know, like I said, some kids believe Santa Claus is a real guy that comes down your non-existent chimney and eats cookies that your sister ate. Whatever. Fuck it. You know what I mean? It's just silly any which way around. I mean,
what about this, JK? What about people? How do you feel about this, man? How do you feel about people who take a political movement, a left-hand approach, and gut the fundamentals of Satanism and the foundations of Satanism, and basically almost almost in contradictory, almost antagonistically oppose the same fundamentals and foundations, and then rename it Satanism, and then call that Satanism as it is today.
Oh, Zach, I have literally no idea who you could possibly be referring to. There is, look, okay, we all hate the joy of Sitchin Ministries. Oh, wait, no, forget that. I think they still exist, which is funny, and I refuse to call them, I call them Joy Sitchin. But we all know who you're fucking talking about. We know you're talking about that glass-eyed idiot. And yeah, look, dude, it's obviously a marketing ploy. It's obviously somebody that, you know, Paul Valentine used to say something to me. He said, I out-LaVeyed LaVey, which that's arguable. That's very arguable, okay? But what I think this dude did is he let LaVey out-LaVey himself. In other words, this guy is basically understanding what LaVey did, but not understanding LaVey's core philosophy, which, like you said, Zach, that means that he bastardized something. Is he allowed to redefine it for himself? I have to say yes. And the reason I have to say yes is because I did the same thing. I just was a little bit more respectful to the traditions and whatnot. But look, you could put a pentagram on a unicorn, and I think they kind of did that, didn't they?
Yeah.
You could put a pentagram on a unicorn and call it Satan's horse if you want.
Sure.
You can do that.
Sure.
And look, you could maybe even get a Hollywood studio to greenlight a fucking Netflix series about that and call it My Little Pony or whatever the fuck you want to do, bro. Because look, you can slander the idea of Satanism, but what you can never do is defy its facticity. And that's why I don't get upset about people that do dumb shit. You know?
Yeah.
Like, everybody can't be cognizant of reality. Some people have to be, like we say, the people that are just getting ready to get turned under the fucking wheel. There are those people. They exist. We know who the fuck they are. And if they want to do, you know, shit like, I don't know.
What do you think of this analogy, man? I like this analogy. Let's say I go find myself a turban, you know, and I'm a fan of rainbow turbans, so I put a turban on my head. You know, it's a rainbow turban, and you know, I walk up, you know, to a group of Muslims, and they're just looking at me like, "What the fuck?" You know, and you know, I'm cool. I'm like, you know, I want to fit in because I got a turban. You know, yeah, it's a rainbow turban.
That's like different, man. Like Satanism.
Yeah, sure.
The
But
fluidity.
actually, I'm gonna fuck with you a little bit. I'm gonna fuck with you a little bit.
Okay.
Muslims don't wear turbans. That's that's the Sikhs, and that's why the Sikhs always get fucked up every time there's a Muslim attack, because it's like, oh shit, those guys in the turbans. Except those are Sikhs. But no, I get you. You're talking about the little fucking Muslim hat. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I got you. And make a rainbow one of those motherfuckers. Yeah, I got you. You get fucking murdered.
If not, they're at least gonna look at you.
That's the punchline. You get murdered.
Yeah. Well, they're at least gonna look at you and be like, oh, have you read the Quran? I'll be like, no. They're like, oh, do you believe in Allah? I'll be like, no. Do you follow our ways? Do you fundamentally believe in our ways? I'd be like, no, but I got a fucking hat. It's a rainbow color, motherfucker. I'm a fucking Muslim. And they'll be like, no, bow down, you're dead. And you know what? I agree with that.
They wouldn't even tell you to bow down. They just fucking beat the fuck out of you, bro.
Yeah.
You just get whooped.
But I mean, Satanism has room for fluidity and growth and different ideas. That's why you have the different ideas that have come out. Like you had LaVey play the trickster, right? And then this guy, what's his name for the Satanic Temple? Glass-eyed motherfucker, right? He took on, while bastardizing it, he still took it on and had the fluidity to be able to do so. He took on the adversary archetype, right? And then you have Luciferianism. These are all different orders that allows fluidity and new ideas, regardless of, you know, whether you agree with them or not. Where organized religion is more rigid, right? Like you have to follow a certain doctrine. Like there is no other way. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about it.
But only to an extent. I mean, to an extent, yes. I mean, there definitely is room to grow, and I think LaVey himself wanted people. That's why I think he appointed Boyd Rice to be the high priest. Is he wanted somebody that was cutting edge, somebody that would adapt to the times. But you can't call yourself a Satanist if you don't believe in the fundamentals of Satanism. And the fundamentals of Satanism is written by Anton LaVey. Now, certain things are satanic, sure. Certain principles are satanic, and even the group that we're associated or talking about, they do have satanic aspects of them, but you can't just gut it and replace it with My Little Fucking Pony and fucking stupid shit. Like, and they still call it Satanism. I'm not saying that I disagree with that.
The thing is, okay. Here's what we can do, and I'm gonna try to nutshell this as quick as possible because I think this really hits on something really, really fundamental in difference.
Sure.
I view Satanism as essentially a libertarian philosophy. Okay, Christianity, Islam, etc. These are authoritarian religions. They have the right to determine who is. Like, if, for example, if you call yourself a Christian, but you deny Jesus, you deny God, etc., they're allowed to say, "Fuck you, you're not a Christian, go suck a dick," right? With me, I can do that on a personal level, and I get you, Zach, 100%, because yes, if you do not support the fundamental ideals of Anton LaVey, which I do, I just expand on them and I kind of move beyond them a little bit. But if you deny those, can you be a Satanist? According to my personal opinion, fuck no. So I agree with you, Zach. Fuck no. You're a clown. You're a unicorn. Like all the fucking things I was saying before. But I'm not going to say that you can't claim that for yourself. You can't claim it to me, but you can claim it for yourself. Because I think a clown show is just that. It's a show of clowns. And if that's out there and if you see it and if you're moved by it and you want to join that, then guess what? That's one less motherfucker I got to worry about because, yeah, you're a confirmed clown now. So we can see this shit and be like, okay, you're controlled opposition. Do you? That's the libertarian nature of it. To me, as a philosophy of Satanism, I'm not into authoritarianism. You're not a real Satanist.
Yeah.
To me, you might not be, and you aren't. But I can make fun of E.A. Koetting on the other hand, and this is what I wanted to say earlier. To flip this shit 180 degrees, he had some guy on there recently on his fucking YouTube channel that supposedly channeled the sigil for the coronavirus. I don't know if you guys saw this or not.
That's awesome.
These, and I just switched it from one degree to the other. Like, if you want to call them left and right on Satanism, whatever you want to call them, I call them different degrees of stupidity.
Well,
so let that shit just be out there.
Also, real quick before
it was a cool looking sigil. It was a cool looking sigil, but come on, man. The coronavirus has a sigil.
And
official. It was official though.
Wow. That no, certainly though.
Bro.
Even in the backlight of it, even in the backstage, you can see there's on a satanic principle, there is something satanic about herding clowns. That is, the shepherd of the sheep is ultimately a Satanist as well, right? I mean, on that level, you're right. It moves a group of people that might be associated or want to associate with a concept that they don't understand over here. It makes them easier to identify. So there's something satanic about doing that in itself, and there's something satanic about the power in itself that somebody was able to take control of the media and alter the public perception of what Satanism is. It is worthy of respect, in my opinion. But
basically, it boils down to the ultimate nature of both Satanism and magic in general, which is just the proper transfer of energy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the fundamentals of the entire project, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about being able to move energy reliably from point A to point B at will. That's what we're talking about. And whatever means we do that. If we make a really great stock trade and now we're a billionaire, guess what? That's magic with the CK. You properly moved energy around. Now, you might not have known what the fuck you were doing, but you did it.
And isn't the
Satanism too?
Isn't the proof in the pudding? And that's my problem with E.A. Koetting, is that if you can really resurrect demons and you control demons and spells and this and that, right? If you can really use sigil magic as described, why are you still cleaning carpets? Like, wouldn't you I don't know about you, like your first thing, man. Why would you get busted with meth and cocaine and drugs, not into guns? Not that I have a problem with that, because that just makes you kind of gangster. Actually, that kind of gives you a fucking thug point in my book. But at the same time, like if you're really demons getting on your side, and you can really tell people how to make spells to improve their lives. And, well, why haven't you done it for yourself?
Fake it till you make it, bro. Fake it till you make it. That's the shit in a nutshell, bro.
Hey,
that's it in a nutshell.
That
bro.
makes
Fake
sense.
It till you make it.
That makes sense. And if he told me that, I'd give him a fucking cyber high five right now. Word. So back on the coronavirus. Are we still talking about coronavirus? No.
We're talking about Satanism, but
Oh.
as you go on, wherever you want to move this, you're the host.
JK, what do you think, man? You're highlighted, man. Is there anything you want to talk about?
Highlighted. Nah, man. You know. Okay. Well. All right. How about this?
Uh-huh.
Where do you see the world in 2 years? Oh, well, that's too fucking like complicated, isn't it?
No, it's not too.
How about this? Trump 2020. I mean, I'm gonna vote. I'm voting for him, but that's not my point. My point is, do you think he's gonna win, or do you think this deck has been so stacked against him? Because I do think, back to what we were saying earlier, I think there's some chicanery going on here. I think there's a certain. All right, look, I'm not a conspiracy guy. I'm not going to say there's people actually pulling strings on puppets and shit, but I do think that there is a way that certain people can have an undue influence.
Yeah, for sure.
So, from 2020, yes or no? Do you think he wins re-election? Do you think Joe Biden wins? Do you think Joe Biden has a fucking heart attack and his DD takes over? What the fuck?
I think Trump's going to win by landslide.
I think Trump's going to win too. I don't care what.
And the only reason
I think he wins, but not by a landslide. But yeah,
I think he wins.
The only reason is
I think turnouts.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say I think turnout's going to be a big thing because Trump's polling it like technically he's losing to Biden, but I think that the people that are answering the phones and saying, yeah, I'd vote for Biden are actually not going to. And I think Trump's base is going to show up big time. And I think a lot of disaffected Bernie voters like my fucking self are also going to show up and vote for Trump. And I think it's lights out for fucking Joe Biden.
Well, Biden's
already lights out, but
a giggling fucking like he seems to have like Alzheimer's or something going on with him. Like they needed him as dementia. A symbol, but I don't think he's got it.
It's stage 1 dementia. It just really is.
Yeah, like dementia for sure. And
if you don't like him, vote for the other Biden.
And then you have a verification with like 5 other people about this person that he had sexually assaulted, and then being so vocal about women's rights. Like it looks really, really bad. Like I'm not saying that.
What looks worse. What looks worse actually is the hypocrisy of all these people that were, when Brett Kavanaugh was being confirmed to the Supreme Court, all these people were coming out, believe her,
yeah,
etc. Now all these same motherfuckers is like, believe him.
Yeah,
so we see it was all fake. That's what we see. It was all fake. It was manufactured.
And then there's definitely.
Let me tell you this, and I believe both women. I do believe both women. I believe Christine Blasey Ford, and I also believe the chick that was in Sharknado. I'm sorry, Tara Reid.
Sharknado.
No, different Tara Reid. Sorry, different Tara Reid. Somebody did not get the joke over there, Zach.
Really, you believe Christine Blasey Ford though? She didn't have any credible evidence, like at all. All she did.
But let me just tell you what the actual charge was. The charge was that he tussled with her in a bedroom. He didn't penetrate her. He didn't rape her. The charge was it was like they were wrestling around.
That's true.
And
but
I believe that happened. I believe that happened. But so what? I believe Joe Biden did finger this woman.
Yeah.
I think one is on a different scale than the other. I think they're both. I think they're both telling the truth because I don't think a woman has a reason. Especially, look, I'm not going to say that women don't lie. But what I'm saying is, when I look at these two situations, I don't think either one of these women is lying.
But even her witnesses say that they couldn't corroborate everything she was saying. The same people that were like on her side as her witnesses say, "Yeah, we weren't there. We don't know what you're talking about." You have people who study her body language and like she's
talking
lying.
about Blasey Ford. You're talking about Blasey Ford now?
Oh yeah, she's a liar, man.
Okay, well look. We can come to different conclusions about that.
Indeed, I'm sorry. I don't mean to give it. I'm going to back up on that one. Yeah, indeed. I don't.
No,
mean,
I've seen the YouTube body language people, and body language, just like, okay, handwriting analysis. I was big into this when I was in college. I was like, holy shit, handwriting analysis is so fucking cool. Because it's like, if it slants to the left, it means this. If it slants to the right, it means that. And if you write under the lines, or you write big B's, or you write small B's, then it means this or that. It's like, okay, all right, you know, I mean.
No, I get you, man.
Her story, look, she didn't claim that Kavanaugh raped her. She claimed a very specific incident happened at a very specific party, and it kind of makes sense if you think about it. Now, if she really was going to make something up, she would have made something up that was a little bit more like camera friendly or dramatic, etc.
Yeah.
Her case, look, Brett Kavanaugh could have came out and said, yeah, I did that, but I was young and we were just fucking around. Yeah. And it wouldn't have been a big thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have been a big thing.
Yeah.
Because look, I mean, yeah, go ahead, Zach. This shit's getting gay as fuck.
I'm just saying why is it a big deal what they do like on their sexual private time? You know, I mean, who here hasn't fingered a woman, and here hasn't? I mean, you know,
no, fingered a woman without her consent. I've never done that.
Without her consent. Okay, I didn't get that.
That's what they're talking about.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, what's the big deal here, guys?
No, that's the big deal. Is
dude, there's gonna be a super PAC for Donald Trump that does the Billy Bush interview, grab him by the pussy, and it's gonna be a mashup with fucking Joe Biden actually grabbing a woman.
I want to see that.
I'm gonna guarantee you this shit's gonna come out. Trump won't do it himself.
Well, without the consent. Okay, I missed that part because I was gonna say, who hasn't fingered a woman? Who hasn't grabbed somebody by the pussy? I mean, come on, like that's like.
No, but its intent is assault without permission.
Without consent. Oh, okay. Okay, that's a little different. Okay, I'm sorry.
But I mean,
lost that there. Okay.
I mean, everything that's been up to this has been drama. We talked about this earlier. I've talked this with you before. I mean, every single thing that's led up to this has led to some weird event in the news. I mean, recently they just brought out the whole UFO thing again, right? Like the coronavirus, the deaths are going down. Oh, we need a new thing. Here comes the Pentagon with UFOs. Here's an investigation about so and so doing this to so and so. There's always been
actually, you know what's fucked up is the way you're interpreting it. I could interpret the exact opposite. They're trying to bury the lead. They're trying to bury the lead. Exactly. They don't want you. They release these fucking reports. They declassified these reports in the middle of the pandemic when nobody's paying attention.
Exactly.
They buried the lead. So I could go the opposite of you. Yeah.
Maybe.
So what about UFOs? Are they fucking real?
Maybe they're trying to move people's thoughts away from.
I think they're trying to build up the military. I think they lost control of the narrative. Or at some point somebody wanted to release this video, and in my opinion, it's to make the military, after years and years of bullshit.
The video was already public, bro. Yeah. The video was public for a while.
No,
they just confirmed it. They finally confirmed it.
In 2017, that's what I'm saying. But it definitely, I mean, it's weird. You got Space Force coming out just before this video is released. Like, it's fucking weird. Like, there is some weird shit going on here. Sorry. There's some weird shit in this stuff. You know, you have to admit it's weird.
No, it is. You know what the funniest thing about our reality is, if you really sit back and think about it for a second?
Yeah.
Is all the little pieces of this gigantic puzzle that we call our, shared experience.
Yeah.
All these little weird pieces that seem to be missing.
Yeah.
Like how did they really build the pyramids? And I'm not saying aliens did it. I'm saying, how did they really do it? And like a lot of shit. Like, was there in Atlantis?
Exactly.
Why do you have those huge fucking heads that nobody can explain in South America? I mean, like all this shit.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I'm not saying that I'm going with any particular theory, because we can look at like, okay, so what the fuck is dark matter?
Yeah.
That account for 75% of the matter in the known universe. Okay, so I can go down the list of these things. It's like, it almost seems like there's somebody laughing at us
Exactly. Yeah.
And we're in a simulation. We're in a simulation, bro. That's it. Simulation.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I feel it too.
Got to put you on point, bro.
No, I'm not. I'm hearing it. I agree with you 100%. But I just think it's really weird that like all these things start to happen during this presidency, right? Like if you look at the people that are behind, if you watch that UFO unidentified show, right, dealing with that one subject, right? Are you still there? I think he's frozen a little bit. There he is.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, all these people have served previous globalist administrations, like Chris Mellon, right? He worked for the Bush and the Obama presidency. You have John Podesta making a regular appearance on that show. You see all these people that are connected to this. Just
you can't even get started, dude. I could do even worse. Okay. We could go down. Look, there's the guy that I want to shout out. I don't know him personally, but he's a guy that everybody should fucking subscribe to on YouTube. His name is Ryan Dawson. He's a really cool guy. He looks into a lot of this fucking shit from a real angle. And basically what I'll say is his Jeffrey Epstein analysis is the most deep. And when you're talking about people that work for this administration, work for that administration, this guy, that guy, this fucking, that's where you need to fucking go.
All right.
To go to get a lot of these connections. And it's fucking insane when you start seeing who's connected to who palled up with who, how the whole thing works, why Bernie Sanders was basically fucking blackballed twice in a row.
Yeah.
Even though he's one of God's chosen people. He is, right?
Right.
That's the story they tell, right? God's chosen people.
I don't know. I thought Bernie was blackballed because he's just a fucking wimp and fucking dropped out of like a Jewish fucking work camp. I don't know.
God.
Well,
don't know, man. I can't. You can't. Don't talk shit about the
trying
Jews
to
and
take
be
it away
Nazi.
from 'em.
Okay. All right. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna throw a wrench in this motherfucker right now.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Jesse Ventura successfully gets on the ballot in all 50 states as a third-party candidate. Don't matter who it is, libertarian, green, whatever. Jesse Ventura, Donald Trump, Joe Sleepy Biden. Who do you vote for?
Trump 2020. Trump 2020.
That's Trump. I believe in Trump.
No shit.
I do.
We just lost about half our audience right now.
Hey, it's okay, man. Like, no, but we're supposed to be able to disagree with each other. We're supposed to be able to talk about differences, man. Like
I don't like Ventura.
We really are. I mean, I guess we're not supposed to, but I believe that. I believe that I can talk to someone that's a progressive,
of course, you can.
libertarian, and fucking and still have a disagreement and still be friends with someone.
Yeah, in an ideal world, yes, you would think so. But...
Oh, I know. I'm not trying to put it down. I'm just saying, like.
So neither one of y'all took the bait. Did one of y'all take the bait and say Jesse?
No, I don't like Jesse, man. I've watched the shows. I
like him.
I didn't like him as a wrestler. That's my problem. Is I got a grudge. I got a grudge when he body slammed somebody that I was rooting for. You know.
I like him because he thinks outside the box. I like Jesse Ventura. I do. I like what he brings to the table. I like that he thinks. Well, he's not afraid to talk about what he wants to talk about.
I'd vote for either one of you two. I'd vote for either one of you two as president above the ones we got going.
But I haven't seen him like talk.
I got enough gray hair as it is, bro. I got enough gray hair as it is.
And we think outside the box, and we actually are critical thinkers. Whereas the president-elects or the potential president-elects really, I mean.
Well, yeah.
I'd be JFK'd within a week, man.
Yeah,
I'd be JFK'd within a week because the first thing I would do is I would stop all aid to Israel. And then I'd be JFK. So there would be that.
You know, JK, if I ran for president, I'd be assassinated too. And they'd just be like, sprinkle some acid on this guy. Bye.
How many hits? Give him 31.
Give him 31. That was one too many, as we told him. Yeah, we'd all be dead.
But I do agree we should be able to get to a point where we can all talk about certain things, even if we disagree with them without an emotional response, you know. Like I miss that. I miss being able to disagree. And I was very left leaning, very liberal. I still am in a lot of ways, but what happened was I started seeing my side become the bully. I started seeing my side become the bully, and I couldn't handle that because I fucking had been in the past. I was chased by fucking rednecks for just having a fucking mohawk and shit like that, and now I'm seeing the reverse. And that's I felt like I was for a while like politically homeless. Like I had, and then not that I should be political or any other way, but I didn't really feel like I had anywhere to go.
Politically homeless is a weird word, man. That's why I try to tell people I'm not political, man. I'm a fucking Satanist. That's it.
No, that's cool.
But it is what it is. I mean, you know, whatever. Try to maybe Trump fucking, you know, blows the you know, the fundamentalist Christians. I don't care, and I don't know. I just look at how it's impacted my life, and my life has done nothing but improve.
I don't agree with Christians,
but that doesn't mean it's he's not responsible. It's mainly my hard work and my abilities to promote my life, my happiness. Trump just happened to be in politics, but I haven't seen any negative impact. I've seen a good stimulus check. They give me a 4-month paid vacation. So
I have seen the negative impact. I've seen political ideology being preached to in every pastime that I used to enjoy, and I don't have a choice whether I get to avoid it or not. That's what led me to going more conservative.
How do you not have a choice? Oh, you mean the alt left pushing on your level, your PC gauge, and what you can and can't say without getting barrage?
Pretty much like movies, music, video games, even comic books. Like I know they've been used for political tools on both sides in the past, but as of late, like I don't get a choice to avoid it. Like I just have to find a new pastime. And maybe that has a lot to do with appealing to the youth and what they believe in now, and I'm just passé. But at the same time, like I don't feel like if I'm going to go to escape something, I don't feel like I feel like that escape should be neutral. At the same time, I should be able to make the choice for myself of what I want to believe in, and at the same time, I want to be accepting of everyone. But I don't feel like if I'm getting pushed a message every time, that you're taking away my choice.
What do you think about that,
JK? Actually, I agree with you 110%. And basically what I was going to say is like, okay, I'm a very political creature. I consider myself left. Matter of fact, far left, almost, based on my policy platforms. But there's a few things that I'm far right on. The first one being Second Amendment. I'm super pro-gun. I believe in shall not be infringed. And I agree with you on the cultural issues. And I think what's happening is you have this weird portion of the progressive left that's trying to push something down our throat that I've actually made a lot of videos being very critical of, which is this whole transgender, like boys are girls, girls are boys, gender fluid. Next thing you know, pedophilia is going to be cool. Fucking animals is already cool, according to their greatest philosopher, Peter Singer. Guy that they always quote. They quote Peter Singer about the veganism thing. That's another thing they're trying to push down people's throats. That people is like, you know, it's the whole creation of the soy boy fucking meme. It's like, this is the part of the left that I absolutely hate.
Yeah.
And that's my side. And so, like, I see what you're talking about. It's like you feel like you have no political home because the side you're rooting for is actually doing a lot of these dumb fuckery things.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I'm like, what the fuck? But I take solace in the fact that I have my own ideology. I mean, big part of my thing, and I made a video about this, is I believe in open borders, but I believe in two-tiered citizenship. And when you look at the whole thing in context, it makes sense. But if I say I believe in open borders, I get hit by the right. If I say I believe in two-tiered citizenship, I get hit by the left. Yeah. So it's like, you can't win the fucking battle. So yeah, exactly. So why even fucking bother with it? Just have your own ideology and have it make sense to you. Like like I said, I'm pro Second Amendment 100%. Yeah. I don't understand why these fucking lefties is fighting that. Why? You're losing half the country when you do that. Maybe
well, I'm pro rights. I believe, and I guess this is sort of a satanic view, that like, as long as you're not an asshole, I'll fucking hang out with you. Like, I don't care what your ideology is. I don't care what your sexual preference is. As long as you're not someone that's going to fucking harm me and my family or take advantage of me. I respect your right to believe in whatever the fuck or do whatever the fuck you.
Yeah, that's social libertarianism. I think we're all on point with that. I think everybody in these chat, I don't think anybody even in the fucking watching the live is going to disagree with that. I think we're all social libertarians. We might as well be. I mean, it's fucking, what is it, 2020 and it's coronavirus?
Yeah.
Go get your dick sucked and get the virus.
Get the virus
On your dick.
How do they call that herpes? No. Oh wait,
just don't touch it to your face. You'll be all right. And use some dick sanitizer on that. And wipe it down with some toilet paper. Oh wait, you don't got no toilet paper.
That's right.
I got a question for you. How much do you think some of this extreme ideology has been influenced by China? How much do you think that some of this trying to divide us, because we used to, like we are right now, you're left and I might be considered a little bit more right now, but like we're talking openly as just human beings. Like how much do you think this was an attempt? Because we're finding out right now that China's arm has been very long. They're censoring our art, all sorts of stuff. And we're catching them like spying on the country. How much influence does China have in our country?
Well, if that's to me, that's a very complex question. I would say that we have long made the mistake of viewing China as a strategic antagonist / ally. So we haven't really, and Trump's been the first president, and maybe this will fit into, a mental map that you might have. Trump has been the first president. I mean, you remember when Nixon opened the road, right? And ever since then, and then, fast forward and you get permanent, normal trade relations, etc. You get the whole fucking Taiwan thing and the agreements and all that shit. China has been playing the smart, long game. And we really haven't.
That's true.
While we've been in the Middle East, starting wars of choice on the behalf of you-know-who.
Yeah.
China has been doing Belt and Road. China has been investing in infrastructure in ways that put us to shame. They are the major threat on the planet, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Russia, come on, man. But see, Russia is strategically aligned with China. So then that becomes problematic for us. Well, we've got 15 different boots in 15 different puddles all around the world. China is doing things that really is, in 10, 15 years, going to be very problematic unless we, right the ship.
But do you think who are we to be world police though? Who are we to say what China does is right or wrong?
No, I didn't say right or wrong. I said strategically as opposed to us.
Okay.
Meaning that they're doing what's right for them, 100%.
Right.
And they're doing better at doing that. So exactly, let the best man win. I'm just saying if we don't take our heads out of our own asses and get our fucking troops home and start investing in infrastructure, and to go back an hour ago and say what I was saying then, America first, we need to fucking rebuild this country. We need to fucking stop being distracted, because I believe we're being distracted. I think a lot of this, and getting to the coronavirus as well, is a giant fucking distraction. We've been distracted.
Absolutely.
Before 9/11. 9/11 was a distraction.
Absolutely. The war on terrorism, and before that Y2K. Yeah. There's always going to be a distraction about, because who pulls the strings? Who pulls the strings are the people that's really in power, which is why I'm not political. Because who we vote for, whether it's Trump or Bin Laden or Bernie Sanders, they're just even on paper, they're 1/3 of the vote. But they're puppets. They're puppets for who controls their financing and who's going to get them reelected next. And does it really matter? I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't. I don't think so.
Well, I think actually, and this is the argument for voting for Trump, and this is probably why I will, is because I think he's the least controlled of any president. I think that's why we're in this fucking mess that we're in. At least a big part of it.
That could be.
I mean, look at why they impeached him.
Yeah.
Look at why they impeached him. I thought it was from bullshit from day one. I called it from day one. But all these people, they trot these same motherfuckers out, bring them on cable news, these lawyers, these people that were involved in like, like how the fuck can you bring a Henry Kissinger on anything, anywhere, anytime to talk about anything? I'm not saying they did Henry Kissinger on Trump, but they've done Henry Kissinger on other people. And it's like, really? Who the fuck is that guy? Or Bill Kristol. Bring him on fucking MSNBC or Fox News or CNN or whichever one. Bill Kristol, really? Irving Kristol's son? Are you joking me? The guy that's been wrong about everything? The neocon that got us into every fucking war we've lived through? That guy? And you want to fucking listen to that dude?
Yeah.
But yeah, you get what you're fucking paying for, bro.
Yeah.
Out
All
of
right,
this
guys.
society, man.
Okay, guys, we're running over an hour now. Let's thank you. I'm surprised we didn't get dropped, but that's great. That's great to know. And thank you guys for tuning in. Anybody want to add anything else before they say? I mean,
before we say it was really great talking to you, man.
Yeah,
like
cool.
I like your points of view, and it proves that like people of different political or ideology, we can get along, we can talk together, we can have a reasonable conversation, even even of different philosophies, spiritualities. We all can get along.
Did it just drop?
No, we're still here.
Oh, my bad. I lost the feed. My bad.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to say it's been really great talking to you. Thank you for your time. Yeah.
Oh, likewise, bro. This has been awesome.
Yeah, JK, man. Obviously, I mean, you and I have been friends for fucking at least 10 years now. I know we're getting fucking old, but whatever, and it's great to have you on, man. And yeah, I just want to end the show just because, it's been an hour and trying to keep it under 30 minutes.
Hey, bro.
So. Yeah.
Check your PayPal, man.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I will as soon as we log off, and that will be en route.
Yeah, you said by Sunday, so.
Absolutely. What's today? Saturday? Fuck.
No, it's now fucking Sunday, but I sent it on Saturday. So.
Okay.
Just trying to keep my nose clean, bro.
All right. Technically, then you get grandfathered in on a Saturday at 9 p.m. All right. Yeah. That'll happen for sure. Yo, all right, guys, man, that'd be great. Hey, and I want to just for the people that are listening or who actually followed us to the end of the show, we're gonna try to have some more live guests, like as colorful as JK here, and of course Mojo will probably be here, and possibly even our beautiful third co-host Benefica will be here. We're scouting for guests, we're scouting for topics. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments of the video below, and we'll fucking try to rattle it off, man. This is a new show, and we're fluid, and nothing set in stone. So
we should let JK here plug anything he wants to plug.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now I want to plug my man Mojo down here. Mojo, it was nice meeting you, bro.
Dude, it's
great. People want to find my shit. I don't plug. If people want to find my shit, they'll find it. Jason King, you know where to find me on YouTube, whatever. It is what it is. Man. But hey, Mojo, it was nice talking to you, bro. I like getting that counterpoint. Yeah. Like in that counterpoint. Zach, thanks for having me on. I'll plug your shit. Your shit is awesome. Fucking like, what is this, Trippy Time? Or what's the name of your fucking podcast? Trippy Time?
Close.
Like that. Sesame Street in this motherfucker. No, I'm just kidding. You guys are awesome, man.
Are you on Facebook?
You guys are awesome.
Fuck
no, I have no Facebook. I have no Twitter. I have none of that shit. I got a YouTube channel. That's it. And I have a book. That's it. Boom.
I'll look you up.
A small fingerprint. Keep that small internet fingerprint. I don't fuck around on the internet. You get sucked into your phone, and the next thing you know, you're a reptilian member of the British Parliament.
What's the name of your YouTube channel for those who don't know?
Just look up Jason King. I mean, just try to find it. I don't want to make it easy for people.
You gotta search.
Find it. I don't care. I only have 2,000 subscribers. I don't want you. I don't want you subscribing to me. Go find me if you want. You're just gonna be another dude downvoting my videos because you can't get your out of your ass to put it up.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
His YouTube, I'll say his YouTube is Jason666 King.
Nice.
That's
something
it.
like that.
Something like that. I think it's still that. I don't know. Yeah, it used to be.
I was Jason 600 Club King because I fucking destroyed him. No, I'm just kidding. We're down. That's so fucking funny. Yes, I win every battle I'm in. Non
I will
sequitur
hit
show
you
was
up,
also
man.
destroyed.
I will definitely hit
Non sequitur show was also destroyed. Them fucking faggot.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you. It's been fun, and thank you all for tuning in. And we'll see you next week with something new and hopefully inviting.
you.
See you guys.
Sweep the leg. You have a problem with that?
No, Sensei.
No mercy.